Let's quickly move on to story number 2 right here. Young India Inc. is also very concerned about how to revive the economy. It has certain ideas, and we want over here, with the help of this broadcast, as you see that there are predictions of India's growth being slashed dramatically, we want to look at solutions all the way ahead. This is very, very significant. So I want to introduce Abhishek Ganguly, is the MD, or the Managing Director of Puma India, and Dheeraj Jain, co-founder of Redcliffe and PSafe. Thank you so much to the two of you. Mr. Ganguly, let me start by asking you this. Solutions. We all know that the economy has suffered, but a lockdown was also important. But Mr. Ganguly, in your wisdom, what could be the possible solutions?
Well, I think it's going to take time. Most importantly, I think it has to be staged, one after the other. We all know that locking everything down for a long period of time is not good for the citizens. It's not good for the economy as well. So in our business, starting up e-commerce, because there is minimal contact, I think was a step in the right direction. Starting day before, I think most of India was available for essential and non-essential services being allowed on e-commerce. Similarly, I think one has to take a step-by-step approach because the problem of this situation is the more you control, the more difficult it gets to revive.
Dheeraj, let me ask you the same question.
Right. So, I mean, clearly, nobody likes lockdown. Human are social animal. We all like to come out and work freely. But situation is so unprecedented. There is no real choice. So we believe, as the gentleman just said, I think it's going to be quite staged, need to be very well planned, as we are seeing in other countries. The moment they open in Korea, when they open the bars and kind of the market over the weekend, we saw a new cluster emerging. So it has to be very, very carefully planned. It has to be very nicely organized with lots of data in the back end to sort of really understand what the implication of easing the lockdown would actually really means, and to learn from other countries actually as well.
No, Dheeraj, see, this is a response on easing of the lockdown. What do you think should be the economic response post-lockdown? Hypothetically, I'm assuming of a world beyond coronavirus and beyond lockdowns. What do you think should an ideal government strategy be?
I think post-lockdown, from an economic perspective, I mean, the demand obviously has been locked as well. So the demand need to come out, but at the same time, the supply also has been restricted. So the supply side measures which government is taking to bring the factories and the production out is the most essential, obviously. And slowly, gradually, other sectors need to come back on the supply side. But then you also have to see on the demand side, just look at the automobile sector. It's ready to supply, but there is no real demand going to come because people don't want to buy the car. So I think, how do you find these balances? Airlines will open up supply, very, very soon, but people don't want to fly. I mean, business traveler don't want to fly at all. I mean, there is no tourism going to happen immediately. So how do you balance the core sectors who are driving economy recovery, even without the no COVID world? In the previous recessions, housing and real estate was sort of the real big economic recovery drivers. And we don't see that could apply in this situation. So I think it's very, very tricky, and there is no real data. But I think the government, whatever the announcement they have made in terms of economic stimulus, we're seeing that's also happening in other countries as well. But we're not seeing the countries which have opened up are seeing massive demand all of a sudden. I think people are scared, and they're not really ready to go and buy things.
I think this point was addressed by the finance minister in her press conference. Very quickly, Mr. Ganguly, what do you have to say about it's an interesting point that Dheeraj mentioned. What do you think about the stimulus package or the relief or economic reform package that the government has announced? Do you think that this is going to be enough? Will it suffice?
Well, I'm not very bullish about it, to be honest, because I personally feel that India has an opportunity in this entire crisis. And the opportunity is that among all the countries, we still, and I keep talking to my counterparts across all the countries. And I feel that we are still in a much better situation. We have a big opportunity on manufacturing because the world is looking at more places outside of China and outside of ASEAN. I don't think at this stage we have made enough stimulus to promote manufacturing in various sectors, which I think is a huge opportunity. Also, I think on recovery, once things start settling down, I think India will be one of the hot spots for investments because the entire world outside, including China, there is a bit of uncertainty with those markets, and the Western world has been far more hit as far as the COVID-19 is concerned till now. So India probably, among all the other countries and all the other opportunities, will be in a much better place to attract investment.
Well,
so we should stay put on that.
Well, Mr. Ganguly, you know, after many, many months, I have heard someone use the word hotspot with a positive connotation. So thanks for that. This leaves us with some amount of positivity. Let us hope we become an investment hotspot. We create an environment that we become an economic hotspot. Thank you so much, Abhishek Ganguly as well as Dheeraj Jain, for sharing with us your views on how to revive the economy. That's a wrap in this edition of Trending Tonight. News will continue right here. Good night.